Hello, my friends. So you want to shoot fast, but you don't know how to practice it. And you don't know what data could still be gathered even when you're trying to go fast. So this exercise is really going to help you have a foundational way to practice this. I learned this from my good friend AJ Zito, and I'm calling this one the split crunch. So in the performance world, there's a couple of bad words. Okay, one of them is cadence. The other one is rhythm. When used improperly, you can really harm yourself and harm your performance, especially if you're trying to just keep up with a cadence. And I want to be clear, this is an experiment into figuring out how much data you can read given a certain split time. Now, in order to measure this and set it up properly, I have a metronome that I downloaded a free app on my phone, and we're using beats per minute of 60, 120, and 240. 60 beats per minute is going to give you a 1 second split, 120 is going to give you a half second split, and 240 is going to give you the quarter second splits. What you're going to need is a target similar to this one, or anything that you can put 3x5 index cards or anything close enough to it. And the whole point is just to give you a visual reference of what to aim at. We fire 6 rounds at a time at the given cadence. And the whole purpose of the exercise is to measure how much data can you read and what data is being sacrificed in order for you to keep that pace up. So in order for us to practice this back here, I have a Coolfire trainer equipped Glock 17 with a Trijicon RMR. So at first, I'd like to demo this for you. I have a target off camera over here to my right, and we're gonna use the 1 second split first. So we have to listen to it a couple of times first. I wanna make sure that we know what 1 second really is. So we're gonna listen to it to build the timing. Cool. 5 or 6 shots at that pace should be easy enough to do. I can tell you each and every rise and fall of my dot, and if these were firing live rounds, that would have been one clean hole on that paper, which will translate into the range here in just a minute. Next, we're gonna bring it up to 120 beats per minute, or the half second split. Cool. 6 shots again is plenty. So again, I'm getting tons of information at a half second split. I'm seeing the dot rise and fall. It's returning exactly where it should be. And it's not taking a lot of effort from my gun side to keep up with that pacing. So now we're gonna stretch a bit. We're gonna take this up to 240 beats per minute, which is gonna mimic your quarter second splits. So for some of you out there, this is really gonna be a big stretch for you, and that's good. You need to push yourself and see what data gets thrown out the window, if any. Or you might surprise yourself and realize, hey, I can still read what's going on, which means you can responsibly go faster. Okay, quarter second splits are gonna sound like this. A little more, stop that. A little more than 6 because I was having some fun with it. So on this one, I'm still seeing the dot rise and fall. I'm getting tons of data from this. However, if that were live rounds on paper, the group would have opened up a little bit into what we call the cone of deviation. So once you've tried the quarter second splits, this is, for most people, this is a great number for you to practice. This is gonna give you a place to push, and now you have some empirical data to build your training schedule off of. Here's the good news. My dot's returning where it should be, so those shots would still be accountable given my 3x5 size target, or if later I give myself the entire alpha to practice with, now we're starting to see my build drill times come down. My draw and fire 2 times are coming down. And that's the beauty in all of this, because this is great practice that doesn't take a lot of time for you to set up. So now we're gonna go into the range and we're gonna do this thing for real, and we'll show you what it looks like live fire. All right, so now we're in the range. We have the target all chalked up. And speaking of chalk, I gotta put mine on. This is from Locked In Grip. This is something that I use every single time I shoot, mainly because it just allows me to connect to the gun a little bit more. I can feel what I'm doing. So our target's at 3 yards, and the target sizes, they're roughly 3x5 index card size, maybe a little bit bigger, but it doesn't really matter. What we're looking for is something big enough to hold you accountable that you have to see the dot and call the shot each time. But this is not an accuracy mode or precision mode exercise in any way, shape, or form. And today I'm happy to announce that I'm shooting my Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 full size with a Holosun 507 competition and some other goodies done by us here at GFL. So The draw is taken out of this exercise completely. We're focusing on what the dot is doing and how our grips and our splits are affecting our ability to gather data. So we're going to start with the 1 second split. Again, the purpose of the exercise is measuring how much data am I getting from the dot. So each and every shot, I saw the dot rise and fall. I knew exactly where it was each time. You'll see that 2 of them are just a little bit high. I was making an adjustment on the dot in motion by holding it a little bit higher just to give me some breathing room from the separation line. I was able to see each and every shot, the rise and fall. I was able to track the dot the entire time. Wonderful. Okay, so now we're going to bump it down to half-second splits. A little more than 6, I was having fun. So that's the half-second split, and we are looking at 43, 46, 44, 46, 46, 44, 43. I forgot that I shot 8. So again, all rounds are held accounted for. I saw the dot rise and fall each time. Each was very predictable. And accuracy, and what's funny is aside from that one that's a little bit lower, the accuracy was better on the half-second than the 1 second, probably because I'm taking some of my dwell time out. It's an interesting observation. Cool things will pop up here, so make sure you pay attention to them. 6 rounds of the quarter-second split. Okay, a little bit more wild, but that's okay because the time signature is increasing. So this one, we're looking at a 23, a 24, a 24, a 21, a 26. So again, the question pops up, what did I see, what did I feel? I was able to see the dot rise and fall, and even that felt very predictable and very controllable based on the speed that I'm comfortable shooting. This is where you find your stretch. I encourage you to bump that metronome even higher and see what you're capable of and where does the data fall off. That's the value here. So we're going to play with that. So we're going to bump the metronome to the maximum, which is 300 beats per minute. Should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 19, 18 splits, something like that. One round. So now I have more than 6 rounds in the gun, and we're going to hit the 300 beat per minute one more time. So again, more than 6. I have fun with this, so I want to keep shooting. I'm thinking about stretching this exercise to 10 rounds just to really let the finger go so you can feel what it feels like. But for now, I'm trying to restrict it to 6, and you can see how challenging it is. The cool thing about this is most of those, I was able to see the dot each and every time. The one where it went high, but I was trying to keep up with the cadence, that's why cadence is a bad word, is the one that went high. My dot wasn't fully recovered yet. It was still in the window. I knew it was high, but I thought it may have been close enough, and it just wasn't. It was just a little too proud. So this is the cool thing. This tells me that 18 splits make me push a little bit, which is usually the case for a lot of our shooters. So this is an exercise that I really like. This is a wonderful warm-up because it doesn't take a lot of ammo, it doesn't take a lot of time to set up, and it's something that you can do at the beginning or the end of your range day. So for those of you looking for something to add to your speed mode practice days, I highly recommend this one. So now we're going to have Killian try it. He's never done anything like this before, so we're going to see if the data stacks up and where he begins to struggle. Ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so now we're in the range with Killian. You may have seen him from his famous Instagram post where he was lounging around a bunch of SIGs, which is ironic because he's shooting a Smith & Wesson M&P. Strong gang gang. Okay, so we're going to start at the 1 second. This is the 1 second split. When you're ready. So we started rushing toward the end, which I found very interesting. Were you able to see everything?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so tell me about the dot rising and falling. How far did it go? When did it return?
Started to come back in right as the point where I started to pull the trigger again for the next shot as I was prepping. That was when the dot would come back. And I had enough time to recognize that towards the end of each beep of the metronome.
Okay, so were you able to see the dot leaving as a stripe and returning as a stripe? Or did you see that like a clear dot as it was settling?
It was clear dot.
Good.
Yeah.
The 1 second time frame gives you plenty of time to verify the fact that your dot is indeed a dot. So when we double the time here, we're gonna go to 120. Now, some of that dwell time is not gonna be there, so you're gonna be seeing more of a streak.
Honestly, it seemed the same as before. I did see a little bit more of a streak, as you were saying, with the dot every single time I took a shot. So it took a little bit more time for me to realign that with every shot, but we got there.
Fair enough. Okay. So now 240. This is quarter-second splits. We're going to be pushing a little bit. Check your mag. Make sure you have enough ammo.
Pocket magazine because I'm a filthy casual.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay, so we felt the wheels come off a little bit, right?
A lot.
And that's okay. So we ran into a little bit of trigger freeze. We ran into some under confirmation, which caused some of those shots to rise a little bit higher, but all the other ones stayed inside the box. So we're gonna go back to the quarter-second split time, and all I'm gonna do is release Killian from the shackles of accuracy. I'm giving him the entire alpha box to play with, because I really want him to see and feel what's necessary to make this time frame. So go ahead and aim the gun. Okay, prep on the trigger. Relax the whole gun arm. Let the whole gun arm relax. Let this one take over and steer the gun. Okay? Are you ready? Good. So once the gun got running, that sounded better, right? And what did you see? Did you see anything?
Not really.
You can be honest.
No, I didn't really see anything.
Good. So that tells us right there that he needs to spend some time here and work his visual process to where he can track what the dot is doing. This is hard. Like running the dot and tracking this data at this distance is very difficult to do. So I'm happy with that. He stayed within the confines, he stretched a little bit, and we learned something about what Killian needs to grow in his practice. So now we're gonna kick it back to the past me in the classroom to wrap this whole thing up. Now, once again, I learned this from AJ Zito, who picked this up from our good friend Tim Herron, and this is an awesome exercise to push yourself and to really measure what you're capable of in terms of measuring your data. And again, big thank you to AJ Zito for presenting this and breaking it down in a way that makes it easy for someone like me to understand, because me and numbers don't get along. This is a great exercise to put together with something like shot calling, because now you're calling your shots at speed and you might be making corrections because now you're able to see it. That's the cool thing about this. If you guys have any questions about stuff like this, performance-based shooting, or any of our training schedule, you'll find everything you need in the link tree down below. I'm looking forward to seeing more of you in class in 2024. The training schedule is going to be published here very shortly for the beginning of the year, so be patient with us, and we're looking forward to see you guys in class. My name is Getty. Be safe. There's always one. So it's at the end of the recording session. I just realized I have exactly 7 rounds in the gun, and these rounds need to go. So it's time for a quick end of the day build drill. We're at 3 yards. This is just for fun. For a happy 165. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel good. Not that it matters. 89 draw, 18, 15, 14, 15, 14. I'm happy. Have a great day.